So hello and welcome to my next chess video. This time I'm gonna show you the game between Monarch 1.7 with white versus Houdini 4x64b with the black pieces, and I let them play the Grünfeldindian defense, which, to be exact, this position you see here, I let them play without opening book or table bases as always, and yeah, this position arises after the moves d4, knight f6, preventing any e4, c4, g6, knight c3, preparing e4, d5, preventing e4, c takes d4, c takes d5, knight takes d5, d4, knight takes c3, pawn takes c3, bishop g7, bishop c4, c5, attacking the center, knight to e2, and this is the position we have. So I don't know a lot about this position. I tried it a couple of times versus Marco, my dear friend, and I don't know if I even won one game in this variation against him. He sometimes even went for some pawn sacrifice here just to get some attack in or something else. And yeah, let's see what Houdini is doing here with black. So, okay, there are many moves. I think castling is a move, and knight to c6, and also queen to a4 or to b6 are moves. So let's go with the most logical move, knight c6, going after the center. Okay, white castles maybe. Takes, and black castles. And now rook b1, going away from this diagonal and also preventing black from developing the bishop somewhere, because the b7 pawn would hang. So let's go b6. Bishop here, bishop there. Now maybe d4, but then knight here, knight there, knight there, a6, and knight here. So this might not be the best course of action for black, because this bishop is staring at the wall and this knight is on the rim, and as you all know, a knight on the rim is dim. So the only thing black is going for him in this position is this bishop here and those 2-to-1 pawn majority on the queen side, but that's not much, so let's try something else. Yeah, b6 might be the right move. Bishop there, bishop b7, and now maybe knight a5. c4 nevertheless, f4 nevertheless. Let's try this. Rook c8, queen d6, preventing any knight c5, c4 ideas, but not that, and b5. No, this doesn't work, because this you can just take, because the queen is also eyeing that square. So maybe after f4 you go a6, immediately kick the bishop back, and then maybe not rook c8, but rather knight c4. So let's say d5. No, then you'd lose a pawn. So knight c3 also doesn't work. Knight d4 is kind of senseless, I think, although you control that square here. So let's go b5, bishop here and rook c8. Black seems to be fine here, just fine. So this is one way to go about it. And indeed, Houdini played knight c6. So let's see what Monarch comes up with. D takes c5 is what D takes c5. Yeah, D takes c5 could be a move there. But then queen takes d1, king takes d1, and maybe even knight here attacking the bishop. knight here, and then knight going in there, attacking the dark square bishop, and also this f2 pawn. But here black can defend maybe with that move. So maybe this is better, just to eliminate the bishop which is coming in there. And now takes, and white has got this huge mess of a pawn structure, but is up a pawn. Okay, but black also has the bishop pair, so this endgame should be better for black, I think. Also you can pin this knight, threaten, pawn takes bishop to king here, and now you could castle king side, and after that you just eliminate this knight and maybe even eliminate that pawn, attacking the rook, and not sure, probably black is better, although there is opposite colored bishops. Queen c7 is what Houdini thinks, or queen a5 instead of exchanging queens. Queen a5. So d takes c5. Okay, queen a5 immediately challenging all the pawns. Now the c3 pawn is threatened and the c5 pawn is threatened, and you cannot, probably you can't defend both of them, so you kind of, you should maybe go bishop c4. No, bishop d2 looks better in my eyes. Bishop d2, and then queen takes c5, follow up with bishop b3 and castles. And castles, and yeah, black should be just fine here. White is also not worse, I think. Let's see what Houdini thinks about that position. Yeah, it's kind of equal. And Monarch thinks it's better for white, but I don't think this is better for white. Normally in this kind of situations, when white should probably never take on c5. Here, at least I don't remember one game where it was played knight pawn takes c5. Probably this is now out of book. Well, I let them play without book, but they most of the time play the book moves because they are just the best moves, and they calculate correctly those engines most of the time, except of Monarch or Greco or something. Those are lower rated engines, but yeah, I've never seen the move d takes c5. What's the idea? Queen a5, castles, bishop e3, knight e6. What? Oh, knight c6, e5. Yeah. Okay, the line Houdini gives is queen a5, pawn takes, queen a5, castles, bishop e3 and knight e5, attacking the bishop. So this is Houdini's line, so let's follow it through. Bishop b3, yeah, but now you don't really get this pawn. Yeah, you could get the pawn back, probably with bishop takes c3 at some point if this knight is moving, but f4 is coming, so what to do about that? Where to develop this bishop? This c5 pawn is kind of annoying. You could go back knight d7 to kind of attack that pawn one more time. But what about queen d5 now? Okay, e6. e6 is kind of... Okay, this, that, and the bishop here, securing the queen to the knight. So this one, that one, and still... Can you even take the queen here in that position? Queen takes, pawn takes with another queen. I think you get too much material as white for all this. Black has got a queen for 1 2 3 3 5 versus 1 2 3 4. So just get one piece for the queen, so this doesn't quite work. So takes bishop a3, e6 doesn't work, but if you move the queen, then just takes, bishop takes, and now both rooks are hanging. So this is probably not possible, but we don't have castles here by white. After queen a5, queen b3 attacking f7, castles. Now maybe the idea is queen b4 shielding. But this doesn't work because if bishop takes here, check, takes, taking the first rook and taking also the second rook. So this doesn't work. Queen b4 can't be the idea. What is Monarch's line, and how is Monarch thinking about that position? Queen b3 to a3. Queen b3 to a3. Okay, he wants to play queen a3 to exchange queens that way and to keep on defending that pawn. Okay, that's kind of nice. How to go about that? And that is still covering the c3 pawn. So castles, knight a3, queen c7, queen c7, castles, knight e5, still knight e5 going after the bishop. So that's the move, knight e5 and bishop c8 to d7. What the hell? Oh no, bishop b3 and bishop d7. This is the line, but let's continue with ideas what I have. f4. Bishop e3 takes, and yeah, white still has this mess of pawns, and now one pawn is falling. Cannot defend all of it, so you kind of have, after bishop b5, you kind of have to defend the knight, right? Takes, rook takes, but now the knight comes in here, threatens the bishop and the pawn, so bishop here. But anyway, this pawn is now falling, and black has got huge pieces. Here white has weaknesses all around the place. Also maybe ideas like a5 and bishop b4 are ideas to pick up that pawn after all. No, you can go bishop here immediately. So okay, let's continue this through. Pawn here, bishop there, attacking the queen. Where is the queen going? Hasn't got many squares, only one square is available to the queen. Yeah, probably this is now not possible for black, because still knight takes, queen takes here. Okay, you get this pawn as well. And if you take bishop takes, then the knight is hanging. So no, wait, bishop takes, rook takes. Okay, bishop takes, you can take with both rooks, because this check doesn't pick up the rook because the rooks are defending each other. So this doesn't work. So after this you kind of have no moves, so you cannot grab the pawn yet. You have to go a5 in that position. But now black is able to hold on to the pawn with rook here. Probably the other rook there. But anyway, there is another pawn hanging, namely that one. So black gets back the pawn in any case. Yeah, because those pawns are so diced that they are so weak that you can get them back very easily with knight e5. Rook e1, this is the line, and now, yeah, a5 is an option to prepare bishop takes, but you can just go knight here as well. But this, and then maybe bishop here. You cannot really kick this knight from that square, so pawn takes, threatening bishop to e3. So let's just prevent this. Also keep on defending the pawn. And now b3. And if takes, king here. Now rook c8, going after the c3 pawn, defending, and maybe f5. No, f5. The pawn is still pinned. So yeah, but black should be much better here because the material is equal, 5 pawns each, but white's pawns are just too weak. Black's position is just too active. So there are many ways to slice this. So let's see, queen a3 castles. We have castles, so we are in this line, castles, and now knight e5, attacking the bishop is planned. So bishop b3 and bishop d7, and let's just see something. Look for something. So f4 is probably not the way to go here. And we have knight a5 instead. So the typical Grünfeld move, knight a5, bishop b3, just to get rid of that bishop, probably. And if bishop d3, then rook here. Now there are two options. Either you go bishop c2 and allow knight c4 attacking the queen, or you go rook there, which is, I think, a little bit better and more accurate. No, it's not, because knight here is coming anyway, because you can't take, because the rook would hang. So yeah, bishop c2, knight there, and where is the queen going? Probably to here. Bishop c2 and knight c5. Probably queen here and knight there now. Going to e5 where that route, knight here. Threatening that pawn here. So queen b3. Because if you just continue developing normally, then you could run into some troubles with queen takes here check. And if the king goes there, then knight here check, king back, knight h3 double check, king here and queen there check with this mate, smothered mate. So that's one way. Of course here you have to give up the rook, but anyway, this is the threat. So queen b, no, I would go queen a3 back, queen a3 to not allow a5 to come with tempo. But anyway, knight f6 could very well be an option. e5 also quite a logical move. But after e5, f5 could come, probably. So e5 is probably not the way to go in that position. So let's see. Maybe bishop e6. Trying to go bishop c4. And after bishop b3 you can get rid of those bishops and play rook c8, and after b3 a3 or something like this. Yeah, black kind of holds on to the pawn. Rook d8 as in my line. Knight f4 is what Monarch thinks. What's wrong with the line I just analyze? So bishop c2, knight here, queen there, knight e5, f4. Probably knight c6 maybe. No, knight c6 back, you just shuffled around. So knight g4. Another move was queen a3 back and bishop e6. I will go a5 here anyway. No, I will go bishop e6. Bishop e6, bishop b3, takes, and a5. Preventing any b4 because captures the rook would hang. So let's just go a3, knight there. Yeah, what is white doing? White's position seems to be fine, but knight f4 was played, so this has to be investigated. Knight f4. The immediate thing I just want to know is what about e5? Just removing the defender. Oh, then knight d5, shielding and attacking the queen. So e3 is played to stop knight there, to stop knight d4. Now g5 is a threat, so maybe h4, also creating some room for the king. But what about bishop there? Yeah, white is losing a piece here. So after e6, white has to go back with the bishop c3. And now knight here, bishop there maybe, or even knight here attacking the queen, trying to go to e5 again without worrying about f4. So let's say, where is the queen going? Let's say queen goes there, knight e5. Attacking this pawn on c5, so the queen goes back. And now what? Now what? Oh, knight here looks to be nice. Bishop there. Defending. b3 takes, rook there, and pawn takes here, followed up, or no, probably knight takes. And how is the pawn count? It's equal on pawns and equal on material, and even the same material, so it's not so bad, I think. Oh, rook d8 we have, rook d1. I think now Houdini is thinking differently about the position. No, it's still kind of equal according to Houdini 4. So we don't have bishop c2, which would have been my move. We have rook d8, but still knight c5 because of this pin. Queen to b4, attacking the knight, knight here, bishop there, rook takes, bishop takes, and a5. You have to keep on defending both pawns, so pawn here, and now what, knight here, bishop a3, defending the pawn. Yeah, problem is what to do with that bishop. Okay, you could now go rook there, but after knight here and rook there, kind of have enough defenders for all that. b3, pawn takes, knight takes. Okay, you're on that pawn, so probably, so let's say h3, b3, pawn takes, knight takes. Now you're on that pawn like 2 times, and it's only defended once, and it cannot move because of the pin. So rook here, but still white is up a pawn. No, this doesn't work yet. On this pawn 3 times, so pawn takes, pawn takes, pawn takes, knight takes, and now you cannot defend this pawn anymore. But you can get this one, but after rook takes, no, you cannot get that one, because bishop takes is just a double attack on queen and rook, so you kind of lose the rook there. So knight takes. Yeah, it's kind of nice position. Yeah, knight a5, and now bishop c2 most probably. So we are in that position here, knight e5, attacking the bishop. Bishop c2 or bishop d2, it kind of doesn't matter, I would exchange queens anyway. Rooks anyway. Okay, there are many ways to slice this, at least according to my analysis and then according to my strength in chess. But you kind of get back the pawn anyway, so it's not a big deal. This pawn which was sacrificed in the opening, the c5 pawn. But okay, let's see what we get there. So we have bishop e2, but I think it doesn't change. Rook takes d1. Yeah, we have the same. We will get the same line most probably. Then after bishop c2, because the rook will take and the knight will come to d7. Oh, there is a different way to slice this. The knight stays on e5 and the bishop goes to f8, going after this pawn here. And now the knight cannot defend it because knight takes knight. So bishop e3 and now b3, now b6, and if takes, okay, bishop takes, and it's kind of an exchange of queens, but still you get back the pawn. Rook here. Can even sacrifice this pawn now because of rook there. Now this bishop is pinned and you cannot defend it. Yeah, you can't, because the knight is covering that square, and even if bishop takes, then this is gonna be checkmate. So this is kind of difficult now to defend. But is b6 even necessary? Is b6 even necessary? Could even try this, and after bishop here now b6, because now this takes won't come with tempo. And now there is really no way of defending the pawn anymore. So I think black is kind of better just because of the structure of the pawns. This bishop is kind of bad, but after b6 it has some scope, so it's a good position for black. So let's go back to the opening. Bishop f8 we have, and Houdini is now giving this as slight edge now for black. Still holdable for white, I think, but let's see. Okay, let's go back a couple of moves. I want to see how this went. Okay, this was the opening position I gave them, and that was d takes c5, queen a5, queen b3, castles, queen a3, queen c7, castles, knight a5, bishop d3, rook there, knight f4, a class move. I really like that, because e5, knight d4, knight d5, attacking the queen, shielding the bishop. So that's why e6 was played, preventing this knight coming to d4. But now rook d1, defending the bishop, bishop here, queen there, attacking the bishop twice, and this was the game continuation. But here we had bishop f8, and after bishop e3, maybe queen c6, bishop f4. No, b6 is the move Houdini wants to do. So the move we analyzed before. So this, that. This is a nice little combination, because now the knight is covering the d3 square, and there is no way of defending the bishop. And if you take this, then this is mate. So it won't end like this game, but this is just a variation I saw. And yeah, let's see, b3, b6, c takes b6 is probably what will occur. And after c takes b6, yeah, let's see. The endgame should be better for black, at least according to Houdini. A little bit better for black. Yeah, Houdini thinks that this is the best move. What about queen takes? That's also a thing I have to ask. Oh, then queen takes c3, attacking the rook. Rook there, maybe. But now no, queen here doesn't work. You just take, and then the bishop would hang. So where's the queen going? Maybe rook there, and if takes, no, this doesn't work for black because the queen is defended. So rook c8. There are not many squares the queen can go to other than that. But then queen b3, rook there, and queen there. And if that, then this one would come, and it's all over on the dark squares. So how does black actually get the pawn back after queen takes b6? We have queen b3, but what's wrong with that move? Oh, I see. Okay, now I see. This comes with a double attack, attacking the rook and attacking on e1. This is a mate threat, actually. This is the major threat, going to e1 with a mate, and the rook is hanging, so there is no time for this because this would be mate instantly. There is a second square for the queen. This is mate instantly. So this doesn't work anyway because of that. So queen went back to b3 because it was under attack. And now rook a3, and black gets really a lot of activity for the pieces. Now this pawn will fall, and then it's equal on pawns with a much better position for black, much more active. So let's see. Yeah, Houdini now gives this as a really bad, not bad, but bigger advantage now. Queen c2. Oh, this now looks all desperate because rook takes, and now what? What to do here? Rook here, bishop there, trying to go into that. Black is completely winning here. I think Houdini is underestimating its position, but black is, I think, completely winning in that position. Just because of the pieces, it's just enormous. Yeah, this is nice. You taking with the bishop is better than queen takes, because you cannot allow queen takes c3. But okay, we have queen b3, rook a3. Yeah, this diagonal is also very useful. Rook a3 and rook takes queen c2 and rook takes c3, queen d2. Queen d2 now. Now we'll go g5. Queen d2, rook c6. Why rook c6 to be exact? Don't understand, because I would go bishop here and after rook b8. Okay, then rook c2, rook c6, so you kind of have to go rook c6 anyway. You don't really, because bishop takes and queen c6 attacking that pawn, but after that oh, the rook is hanging, so you cannot go f3. So why rook c6? I don't really understand this. I would go after queen d2. I would go to b7 with the bishop. And after that, I would go g5 and bishop here, attacking the queen one more time. Queen has to keep on defending the bishop. Yeah, but this is all senseless. You cannot really defend the bishop because rook takes, and bishop c5 pins the queen to the king. So f3 is also not quite on. So after bishop here, maybe bishop f4 to not open up this diagonal, so that this rook takes is not possible. But then g5 anyway, knight here attacking the rook, rook there attacking the queen, queen c8. But now bishop here, and if bishop takes, then you take this bishop with a rook, and now you cannot take the rook because of the fork, and this bishop is hanging anyway, and if you go back with the bishop, then you just got two pieces, and this is also completely winning. So also now this pawn is hanging. So why rook c6? This is what I don't understand. I would go after queen d2. I would go here. Yeah, it looks like a superior position to black for me, but maybe white has something going for him as well. Time-wise, Houdini has 5 minutes left, and Monarch has 10 minutes, 33 seconds. So, and they are on move 22. So, still a way to go, but this is probably not how you play the Grünfeld. This is probably not how to play the Grünfeld. Yeah, what engines, lower rated engines, probably all engines except of neural networks, don't understand is they can look for they can calculate a lot of lines, but you cannot calculate so much that you know that you can, because Houdini or Stockfish or Komodo, so they are doing this, but probably a lot of engines don't understand that structure and strategic things are also important, because just look at it. This is so messed up, this structure, that yeah, it's easy to get back these pawns. So queen a5, queen b3, castles, queen a3, queen c7, castles, knight a5, bishop d3, rook there, knight f4, e6, bishop c2, no, not bishop c2, e6, rook d1, knight here, queen there, knight there, bishop c2, takes, not a5, but bishop f8, bishop e3, b6, takes, queen b3, rook there, and queen b2 was played, and rook c6 anyway, and now it's busted. I think it's now completely busted, this position. Yeah, rook c6 now, defending the pawn on b6, and also maybe preparing knight here with a double attack on bishop and queen to get rid of this dark square bishop, and again dice the structure. Queen d2, queen e2, rook c4 now, going after this pawn here, and if that, then probably rook c3 back. So now the king has to move. Now maybe g5, knight here. No, knight here doesn't work, you just take it. So probably knight back. Now rook takes, queen takes, and bishop b3 here, queen c2. I don't think this is working though. Don't think this sacrifice is working, so f3. f3, what's the deal here? Rook c3, king h1, this is what Monarch gives. Because a threat is here to take the bishop, and after queen takes to play bishop c5, pinning the queen to the king. So not many options, and now I think it's completely busted. Completely, Houdini gives it as still an edge, but not so much. Monarch had played a good game here, or is playing a good game. Not always hitting the best move, but good moves. Good moves by Monarch. Knight f4 really impressed me. Knight f4 really impressed me. Oh, no. What about king h1, rook takes anyway, queen takes, and knight f4. You have to keep on defending the knight. And if you go there, then bishop a3 comes. So queen there. Now queen takes, attacking the bishop. Where is this bishop going? Oh no, wow. Bishop a6 we have. After f3 we have bishop a6. Just lining up the bishop with the queen. But the bishop is not defended, so what's the idea? Oh, the idea is simple. Let's make a random move. Bishop takes, rook takes here, and after queen takes bishop, rook takes bishop. And now black is the one up a pawn. So that's why Monarch went here to attack this one. And now rook c6 back. And now the bishop is developed on a nice diagonal. Still g5, knight g4 or something could come. Still, yeah, well, before I said it's completely over, but it's still not so bad for white. For human players, this could be holdable for white, but I think Houdini will bring this home. Rook c6. Let's give a token move. Let's say a4 or something, or king h1. Let's just play king h1, what Monarch wants to do. Then knight here, attacking the bishop. You could either go back with the bishop, oh, that was the threat. So a4 wasn't working because knight here and it doesn't really matter what you do. If you go away with the bishop, then bishop here pinning the queen to the king is coming again. And even if not, even if you try and do something like this, then takes. Okay, here you can even take the rook. So let's say give some token move. Let's say bishop here attacking the knight. It doesn't help because it's not about this knight, it's about the pin. So knight c4 is the threat. So okay, that's why instead of a4, bishop e2 was played to take away this knight f4. But here we would just take it, and go knight f4 anyway. But or rook there. Wow. Why not this? Bishop here maybe, and it's holding kind of. Yeah, probably it's holding. Probably black is still better, but after bishop e2, just pinning and winning, as they say, and now the rook has to go there. I'm not sure if the rook can go there because of bishop b5. Wow, this is just a desperate position. Oh yeah, Houdini agrees with me, it's just a desperate position now. Rook c2, bishop takes b6. Bishop takes b6 is probably the only move, which is kind of still playable, but you just move the queen here. Monarch gives up the queen, and yeah, now it's over. Just taking the queen, and it's done. This game is done now. Monarch gave up the queen, but this is also completely senseless because after g5 you kind of lose the bishop. Bishop here, let's say. To prevent the queen from approaching. Knight here, knight there, and now rook there, and you even lose the bishop. So no, you don't, because if you take now, then queen takes check wins the rook. So this, you cannot immediately take it. You have to go e3 now, but now the bishop returns back. But what about knight e6? Okay, the knight is covering the bishop also, but it just, it's 1 2 3 4 5 versus 1 2 3 4 pieces, so it's over. And this position we see here is also over, so let's just see the end. And yeah, it was a nice game. Monarch played one really good move in this game, but now it's minus 4.93, and also Monarch gives it as completely lost, so I probably will adjust it. It's a queen and a versus, just take it, or queen b2 attacking the rook even. Rook d1. It's a queen versus rook and bishop with an extra pawn for black. So it's just over. And now you have two extra pawns, and one of them is a passed pawn. Wow. Okay. Let's see both evaluations. -6, -3. Let's adjust the game. Okay. Yeah. What we witnessed there is a demonstration of how not to play against the Grünfeld defense, because I'm sure this move here was never played before. Bishop e3. Let's see, live book. No, it will never played before. It's a new move in the position and it's probably a bad move. So, yeah. It's an idea, but probably not a good one. Okay, thanks for watching and see you next time. Ciao.